This is a Gem Mind Publishing production. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the tumultuous history of the Hadean Galaxy. We proudly present Season 2, Dynasties of Deceit, where secrets unravel and alliances shift faster than light. Buckle in as we continue our chronicling of this exiled humanity, not just with political power plays, but the source of power itself.
The Galactic Task Force. In the sprawling expanse of the Hadean Galaxy, the exiled human civilization on Agnos would eventually find itself further fractured, and owing to the planetary market, scattered among the stars. This foreseeable consequence of Coffin Galahad's greater designs would come with the potential for entities such as megacorporations, the ultra-wealthy, space pirates, and more, to cause trouble, as well as inevitable interplanetary and intraplanetary conflicts. To maintain order across the vast reaches of space, it was necessary to unify and police this diaspora. Thus, a galactic law enforcement agency, equivalent to the ancient Earth institution called Interpol, was conceived. Simply called the Galactic Task Force, or GTF, this elite unit of cybernetically, physiologically, and physically enhanced agents was bound by unwavering loyalty to their cause. Under the stern and pragmatic leadership of the council-appointed Director General Danzo Homamuda, the GTF evolved into a formidable organization. Driven by his relentless pursuit of justice, he ultimately became the unholy architect of the GTF. As such, the path to crafting the ideal agent was paved with dark secrets and amorality. The Apostles' Hounds. Through years of testing, and upon the suggestions of those scientists and engineers with less compunctions, the Galactic Task Force discovered that the younger the subject, the more successfully they could be modified. The younger the candidate, the faster they adapted to genetic changes, and the less likely they were to suffer complications from cybernetic implants. This realization led to a chilling policy. The recruitment of orphaned boys, some mere weeks old or taken directly from the wombs of mothers seeking abortions, and subsequently nurtured in artificial environments. This inadvertently spawned a nefarious industry that came to be known as the baby market. Desperate mothers, coerced by abusive partners or driven by some unavoidable exacerbated circumstance, would tearfully hand over their children to the agency. Only the most depraved, destitute, and desperate would conceive solely to sell their yet unborn children to the state for a quick profit. During its early days, the baby market also saw an influx of sales through third-party sources. These sellers were part of an even grimmer side of the industry. With a monetary incentive, some individuals and gangs kidnapped expecting mothers, and in procedures that usually ended badly for the woman, they removed babies just old enough to survive transport. The GTF accepted all transactions regardless of how they suspected the merchandise was acquired, though not without repercussions. Besides the negative effects on agnostic society, namely the citizenry of Agnos, the Council's shiny new task force was already having its name dragged through the mud. This did not shake Danzo's resolve. He saw optics as subordinate to the ultimate goal of galactic justice. And as for the injustices occurring due to the chain of supply and demand, he saw those as mere sacrifices to a greater cause. However, the 12 apostles were not as keen for the GTF to lose the respect and trust of the common man before being more firmly established as the hand of the law. Having to answer to this higher authority was the sole impetus for Danzo's swift action. He had his people clamp down on the spiraling situation with the inclusion of mandatory genetic testing for these child vendors. One had to prove maternal parentage to the minor in question. Anyone outside of this would face arrest for attempting to sell what was termed an unaccompanied minor. This forced the baby market to clean up its act, but as a whole, it persisted in the shadows of society. In the end, these innocents, plucked from the streets, orphanages, and wombs of Agnos, were shipped off to GTF training camps, where they underwent a grueling process of transformation and indoctrination. Regarding the creation of these soldiers, the first step was a perilous genetic modification procedure, utilizing a virus to re-engineer candidates' bodies. This enhancement aimed to extend lifespan, boost healing capabilities, and elevate physical aptitude, but the price was steep. A staggering 38% perished during this initial phase. The survivors emerged as GTF recruits, their bodies forever altered, and for most their ability to father children stripped away. Forged in the fires of inexorable training, recruits were honed into perfect weapons, and their minds molded to serve with unwavering blind devotion. This earned them the moniker the Apostles' Hounds, signature abilities and cybernetic enhancements. As GTF recruits progressed through their training, a second round of augmentations awaited them. These procedures sought to unlock latent capabilities hidden within the human genome, granting each agent a unique signature ability. However, not all traits were advantageous. Some proved maladaptive, leading to premature death or requiring the organization to administer forced euthanasia. Some of these less than desirable latent talents included pain nullification, radiation emission, self-destructive regeneration, elevated pain reception, regressive aging, and accelerated cellular regeneration. While a few might have become formidable abilities, the recruits in which they manifested were not always able to gain the mastery over them, and suffered for it. Those who withstood the genetic enhancements could officially be called agents. Assigned to a unit, they were further augmented with cybernetic implants, tailored to their specific abilities and the recommendations of their commanding officers. In sum, they had become walking war machines, each a formidable force in their own right. To further enhance their capabilities, GTF agents were outfitted with state-of-the-art military-grade cybernetic battle armor. This high-tech exoskeleton not only provided advanced protection against enemy fire, but also increased an agent's already impressive strength, speed, and agility. Equipped with integrated weapon systems, enhanced sensory arrays, and advanced tactical displays, the exosuit transformed the GTF agents into veritable one-man armies, capable of single-handedly taking on entire platoons. The price of power. The Galactic Task Force's methods may have produced exceptional agents, but they came at a heavy cost. The disregard for the agent's autonomy, coupled with the high mortality rate of the enhancement procedures, painted a bleak picture of an organization that valued results above all else. A boys' club mentality also permeated the ranks. Female agents had been phased out almost as soon as the GTF was inaugurated, and women were instead relegated to clerical and support roles. The lack of women did wonders for the smooth functioning of the institution, but only intensified the adrenaline-fueled competitive atmosphere and the womanizing habits of the majority. Due to the nomadic nature of their work, requiring travel all over the galaxy for years at a time, most agents opted for clones, sex bots, and women of comfort to satisfy their desires. This was considered preferable to engaging in complicated long-distance relationships, and taking into account the extended life of an agent, forming concrete commitments with people who usually had far shorter lives seemed futile. The focus on creating male recruits was not merely a matter of bias, but a calculated decision based on scientific evidence. Male bodies consistently demonstrated a superior ability to handle the genetic modifications, emerging stronger, faster, and more resilient than their female counterparts undergoing the same procedures. These results meant that, from an economic perspective, the modification of males yielded a higher return on investment. Moreover, Agnos grappled with a significant female shortage during this era, making women more valuable and unequivocally essential for the continuation of the human species. In a world where breeding stock was a precious commodity, the GTF's decision to prioritize male recruits served to preserve this delicate population balance. Organizational structure. The Galactic Task Force's organizational structure reflected its multifaceted nature, with divisions dedicated to research, ethics, field operations, and the training and enhancement of its agents. The top brass. At the helm of the GTF is the Director General, Danzo Homomuda, responsible for the strategic direction and coordination of the entire organization. The Deputy Director General serves as a second-in-command, ensuring continuity in leadership. The Galactic Council Liaison Office. The GLCO maintains diplomatic relations with the governing body of the galaxy. Within this division, the Ambassador at Large represents the GTF in negotiations and discussions. The Research and Development Bureau. Led by the Chief Scientist, the team focuses on exploring cutting-edge technologies and innovating the GTF's enhancement processes for agents. The Ethics and Oversight Office. Under the Director of Ethics, this division establishes and enforces strict moral guidelines to ensure ethical conduct. The Internal Oversight Officer serves as a watchdog, investigating any breaches of ethical conduct within the organization. The Field Operations Division. This is the heart of the GTF. Two groups comprise the FOD, sometimes teasingly called the fodder. These are the seasoned, full-fledged agents, and the youth training phase. The commander of full-fledged agents oversees the deployment and coordination of the GTF's elite operatives, while the youth training commander supervises the rigorous training regimen of the young, up-and-coming recruits. The Cybernetic Augmentation and Genetic Enhancement Divisions. Supporting the FOD are the Cybernetic Augmentation and Genetic Enhancement Divisions, responsible for the cutting-edge technologies and biological discoveries that transform ordinary humans into extraordinary agents. The chief technologist and chief geneticist lead teams of brilliant minds in pushing the boundaries of what is possible. The Child-Rearing Division. Perhaps the most enigmatic of all these is the Child-Rearing Division, also known as the Nursery, which is tasked with the upbringing, education, and well-being of the GTF's young candidates. Led by the Chief Guardian, this department shapes the minds and hearts of the future agents, instilling in them the unshakable loyalty that defines the GTF. Above the law, GTF agents wielded unparalleled authority, and their jurisdiction extended to most member worlds. When an agent arrived on-world, they automatically assumed command of all local security agencies. So absolute was their sway that they could override even the decisions of heads of state in special circumstances. The GTF also had only one commander-in-chief to answer to. This was the council themselves, who they reported to directly, rather than the elected government of Agnos. This unchecked power, combined with a sense of being above most world authorities, raised concerns about the potential for abuses and the erosion of democratic principles. The Galactic Task Force, created to facilitate harmony and balance, had become a double-edged sword. While its agents were undeniably effective in maintaining peace and security across the newly terraformed and colonized worlds, the organization became a testament to twisted views of righteousness. Beneath the shallow veneer of noble purpose, the dark underpinnings of the GTF serve as a cautionary tale of unrestrained power and the flawed systems humanity rehashes in their search for rulership and order.
Want more in-depth Hadean Galaxy stories? Meet Playboy scum GTF agent Casanova in the first book of Gareth Mayer's sci-fi action romance series. Casanova is free. And for the next month, all other books in the series are only 99 cents a pop. If you want to support our work as independent creators, head over to our Patreon page. Links in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more weekly sci-fi world building videos.